Coming up on DC News Now at noon, an officer-involved shooting in Prince George's County. Police explain what happened. And later, a violent weekend in Ukraine, the latest attack from President Putin. And good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the news at noon. I'm Mark Hall. We begin with a check on the weather with meteorologist Scott Sumner, who's in for Damon Madsen today. And Scott, it was a chilly start to the morning, but the sun is shining. I hope it's a sign of things to come.
Well, it certainly is here, Mark. Today is a non-event day. It really is a beautiful afternoon here unfolding, and we are starting to warm up after that morning chill that we had. We'll talk about the rest of the day, break it down for you, talk about tonight's temperatures, and also show you some weather headlines. Yes, there are some changes in the forecast. It's not all perfect weather throughout the next 7 days. One little blemish on the 7 day, and then we'll get back to nicer weather. We'll talk about it coming up.
Okay, Scott, thank you. Developing now, the Prince George's County, Maryland, where an officer-involved shooting and a police chase ended with 2 people in custody. DC News Now's Joseph Omo was at the news conference where the Bladensburg police chief explained just how close of a call it was for officers.
Yeah, the Bladensburg police chief is calling this a very, very serious event, although he is thankful that none of his officers were hurt after one of those suspects tried to run them over with a stolen car.
Officers come to work and they have a 4,000-pound weapon speeding at you. You're going to be forced to make split-second decisions.
Today, inside the Bladensburg Police Department, the investigation continues after a late-night chaotic car chase that lasted over 7 miles from Prince George's County into southeast D.C. Police Chief Tyrone Collington says it all started with a tip into his department.
I want to commend our residents who always have been that second set of eyes for us in the community. She witnessed these individuals going up and down, tampering with motor vehicles to the tune that she was afraid to get out of her own car to walk into her apartment.
Those suspects first spotted here at 57th Avenue in Bladensburg, a residential area with several apartment buildings. Officers get to the scene and arrest one who tried to flee. The other gets inside of a stolen car and tries to run over police officers. Unsuccessful at that, he rams the car into a police cruiser, causing severe damage. The chief says his officers repeatedly warned the suspect to stand down. He didn't, and 3 officers, he says, had to fire their service weapons. They struck the suspect somewhere in the chest, but the gunshots did not stop him from trying to get away.
This individual did drive his car with his hood fully extended after ramming into our cars, and he made it from here back to southeast D.C. with his hood wide open. So it's a miracle that no motorists were injured and no innocent pedestrians walking along the sidewalk or crosswalks were injured by this individual who was hell-bent on escaping from us.
Both suspects, who are described as adult males, are now in custody. The one driving the car sent to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. And as for charges against those suspects?
Any charges, you attempted to run over a uniformed police officer in the line of duty in a stolen vehicle that was recovered in our town, as well as some other charges that he'll be looking at.
Reporting in Bladensburg, I'm Joseph Olmo, DC News Now.
Our thanks to Joseph. New today, a report from the Department of Housing and Urban Development is revealing problems within DC's housing authority. The local leaders are responding after the report showed what it looks like inside some of DC's affordable units. Now take a look at these photos from the report. HUD says that it found the DC Housing Authority was not keeping units in safe, sanitary condition. The report says that these photos represent an extreme example of the despair they found in some of the vacant units, and on top of the physical problems with some of them, the report also called out financial problems and poor oversight. DC Attorney General Carl Racine responded to it all on Twitter, saying how now is the time to overhaul the DCHA's leadership, including its executive director, board chair, and some board members. It's also past time for oversight. He also called for oversight to be turned over to the D.C. Council while new leadership is sought out. Well, police are investigating a homicide overnight in Prince George's County. It happened around 11 o'clock last night near the D.C. border. And police say that a person was hit by a vehicle, and when they got there, they found a man on the ground unresponsive. He was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. The victim's name has not been released. Again, this is being investigated as a homicide. And we're working to learn more about an early morning shooting in Prince George's County. This is the scene at Fairview Avenue around Tacoma Park. Around 5:40 this morning, police found two men suffering from gunshot wounds. One was taken to the hospital while the other was treated on scene. Officials say that both are expected to make a full recovery. Police say detectives are working to find the suspect and to determine the motive. One person is in the hospital and two others displaced after the overnight fire in northeast D.C. D.C. Fire and EMS says it started in a basement on F Street. Victim is expected to be okay. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Well, the midterm elections are less than a month away, and while initially it appears that Republicans would easily win control of Congress, the issues are now more complicated. Washington correspondent Alexandra Limon has the story.
Abortion will be one of the key issues that decides which party will control Congress after the midterms.
But in the end, Americans do not want abortion on demand until birth.
Democrats like Michigan Congresswoman Alyssa Slotkin say they never supported unlimited access to abortion without restrictions.
It's up to viability. You have the right to make that decision on your own, but afterwards you need the input of a medical professional. I think that's the right place for our state and frankly, I think for the country.
The issue of abortion could help Democrats retain control of at least one chamber of Congress as they vowed to protect women's rights. But another top issue for voters is the economy.
Our job market continues to show resilience.
President Biden expressed optimism about the U.S. economy following a jobs report that showed more jobs were added in September, but at a slower rate. However, the stock market dipped in reaction to that news because of the almost certainty that the Federal Reserve will continue to increase interest rates. E.J. Antoni, an economist with the Conservative Heritage Foundation, says the high prices consumers are seeing are still a big problem, and he foresees other economic woes.
The third quarter of economic growth definitely looks like it's going to be positive, but after that, all bets are off.
And that was Alexandra Limon reporting. Other top issues that could help Republicans include crime and immigration. Tensions in Eastern Europe are on the rise this afternoon as the Ukrainian capital city of Kyiv is facing blasts from Russian forces. Now, over the weekend, critical supply chains were cut off by explosions. News Nation's Joe Khalil is breaking down the latest developments.
Another major blow for Russia in its war with Ukraine. This time, for Vladimir Putin, it was personal. This blast shutting down the Kerch Bridge, the only physical connection between Russia and Crimea, an important supply line for the Russian military and a symbol of Russia's link to Crimea, part of Ukraine until 2014 when Russia annexed it.
Today was a good day and mostly sunny on the territory of our state. Unfortunately, it was cloudy in Crimea.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky touted the explosion as a sign of promise for his country.
This is a future without occupiers throughout our territory, in particular in Crimea.
Ukraine's defense ministry seemed to taunt Russia through tweet, asking, quote, "What's next, Ruski?" And Ukraine's postal service announced bridge explosion stamps coming soon. And this. Ukraine's Security and Defense Council seemed to troll President Putin celebrating the bridge attack on his birthday with this video.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
It's just the latest setback for Russia. The Kremlin just replaced its on-the-ground military commander again, hoping to recover after losing thousands of square kilometers to Ukraine's latest offensive. Putin now threatening to defend Russian territory using any means at his disposal.
Russia's talk of using nuclear weapons is irresponsible.
Those veiled threats prompted an eye-catching response from the White House. President Biden, speaking to supporters, said, quote, "Putin is not joking when he talks about potential use of tactical nuclear weapons. We've not faced the prospect of Armageddon since Kennedy and the Cuban Missile Crisis." White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre told reporters Friday a nuclear threat from Russia is not imminent.
We have not seen any reason to adjust our own strategic nuclear posture, nor do we have indication that Russia is preparing to imminently use nuclear weapons.
But the other major nuclear threat, the Zaporizhzhia power plant in Ukraine, lost power due to more shelling overnight. Europe's largest nuclear plant risks a meltdown if it overheats. It's now being cooled only by emergency generators.
Well, today is Indigenous Peoples Day, and there will be celebrations honoring Native Americans throughout the DMV. Those celebrations could bring changes to your morning and afternoon. For instance, Newell Street in Silver Spring will be closed all day to allow for community gatherings. The Metro will also see changes throughout the day. Metro rail services will operate as if today was a typical weekday, while Metro Bus will operate on its supplemental Saturday schedule. Weekday off-peak fares will be in effect all day. Now, those interested in joining the celebrations can attend the Come to the Circle event adjacent to the National Museum of the American Indian. That event is hosted by the American Indian Society of Washington, D.C., and will run from 2 to 5 p.m. The Smithsonian is hosting an online event which will take place at 1 today, and anyone interested can register for the link on their website. These celebrations will stretch into tomorrow as well. The Alexandria Archaeology Museum plans to unveil a new exhibit that highlights indigenous tools and technologies. Now, that event not expected to cause travel changes.
All right, Mark, let's take a look at our current temperatures on this Monday. As you can see, 67 degrees, plenty of sunshine out there. The sun sets tonight at 6:37. Low humidity, low dew point, very pleasant, light northerly breeze, or a little bit of a breeze out of the north anyway at 9 miles an hour. Not too bad a deal across the region. But this is coming off of some very chilly temperatures this morning. Morning lows were into I would say the 30s across the area and 40s as well. There we go. You can see it, 44 at D.C., 36 at Waldorf, 34 at Manassas, 37 at Leesburg, 32 at Kaiser and Woodstock, down to the freezing mark. Cumberland coming in at 31 degrees. All right, what about the weather headlines? What can we expect going throughout the next couple of days here? Dry and sunny afternoon. Not as cold tonight, but still chilly. Quiet through midweek, and rain and possible thunderstorms by Thursday.